Welcome back to the Aro Benaiah Show, where we highlight rebuilders, blue collar leaders, street people, and bold entrepreneurs creating success with their hands, their heart, and hustle. Today's guest is someone who has went from the beauty industry to founding a global consulting powerhouse. Angela Thomas is the founder of Angel Success Consulting and Europe Top One expert. She has helped legacy-driven entrepreneurs from doctor to service provider scale with strategy and so. Angela, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so happy to bring maybe some interesting stuff to your
Yeah,
audience, Aro. Thank you.
thank you very much. So Angela, what was it like growing up? How was it like for you?
Oh, I was growing up actually in East Germany. I was growing up on the countryside and in very humbled environment. And yeah, but I learned already from the scratches on how to sell and how to do business because I grew up basically between the flour bags in the bakery of my grandparents. So I was actually knowing how my grandparents leaded the team. I was knowing how actually my aunts was selling the cakes and the bread and stuff like that. So I was always looking how it was going. And the most spectacular times in the day was in the morning when my grandma had basically greeted me in the morning. She always put me in the warm kitchen of the bakery and prepared the breakfast. And the most interesting event on the day was when my auntie took the cashier of the day and counted all the money. And that's when I was sitting. I was sitting next to it. So food and money was always something,
Wow,
or food and resorts was always something spectacular for me. Yeah.
wow. That was really amazing. So you started a beauty industry. What drew you first in the place? Because being that looking at the way you get started, you were working with your dad and mom in the bakery. And how did it not shifted? You actually starting more like a beauty industry.
Yes, so the beauty industry actually I entered after I had a journey of not knowing what to do in my life because I grew up in East Germany and there was no really space of being an entrepreneur as we know it from today. And that led me actually to a normal job. So I studied nurse when I was very young. So I'm actually also in my first occupation an examinated nurse. So but when the war came down and the whole politics had changed, also the landscape changed, and I was very interested to see all the environment in West Germany. So at that time, in my young ages, I was young 17. I actually got to know my first love and the husband that I wanted to get married to. And he was an entrepreneur and had a wholesale. So we was into trading and I was very interested in this business. It really just picked me up how it was going, how he was dealing with all of the things. And I skipped being a nurse and entered into his business. Unfortunately, 2 weeks before we got married, 4 years later, we wanted to get married. He died in a car accident, and that
Hmm.
was a very dramatic cut in my whole life. Actually, it turned my life upside down, of course, and I was wanted to travel, and I had a whole travel going to Africa. So I lived also a year in Zanzibar, and to find myself basically. Back in the days, it was not possible for me as a woman, as a female, to hold our own business. So that's what I tried to do there. I was just working in a hotel and building up my business in the site, and I just recognized that I could not, other than I would marry somebody, and so I was not in this stage. So I went back into to Germany and did not know what to do. And some time later, then I just fell into a place where a lot of people was asking me, Angela, how you do your nails, and this is so nice, where you do them, and they wanted to have recommendations, but there was no place. I was always driving a little farther. So again, my my entrepreneur genes kicked in, and I was like, wait a minute, if there's nobody here and there's no nail salon, there's no skin spa or anything, let me see if I can do this. So I just went from the scratches to the school and learned how to do this. But meanwhile, I was already opening my preparing to open actually in the house that I had meanwhile in the basements to get actually everything prepared. So I opened even not knowing how to do it, just employing somebody how to do it. Meanwhile, I learned how to do everything to know and to be on top of the game. And that's, excuse me, and that's when I later on, shifting 25 years forwards, I was actually awarded for my life achievement because I had also built up a big school into it. And that's how it's always about scaling in my entrepreneur situations. And that's what I'm doing. And today I'm actually teaching how to teach. This is what was then back in the days my business case also to build out. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. There's a whole lot to pick from this particular story. The fact that the grit, the fact that you were able to pick yourself up when things went actually down. And really, I'm so sorry for the loss of your partner before you guys get
Yeah,
married. It's really a lot.
it is, and but still, it is also a learning when something like that happens. This is also a part of life, and if that is happening, what helped me in this situation always to believe that he's not gone, he's only on the other side,
Yeah.
in kind of the other room. And everybody who has a loss of that tremendous kind, then it is about to have actually the ability also to grieve, but also to go beyond it, because there's a reason why you are here, not on the other room. And that's what you
Wow.
have to make out of it, okay? And that's what you have to make the best out of it, because it's a
Yeah.
gift that you are here and you have still you have still a goal to fulfill, and there is a purpose behind. That's what you have to take the best out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Angela. All right. I think your story just shows, actually speak volume to the fact that why you actually came back to your place, and despite all the things that have gone on, you were still clueless about what you were about to do. And owing to people asking questions about how did you get your nail fees, how did you get these fees, that actually just for the fact that there was a need, and you being an entrepreneur, you actually even sprung onto action to actually be the person who is going to deliver the need. So that actually make me more curious that what was the first taste for entrepreneurship, and how did that shape your mindset? How did you, because the fact that you just saw them commenting on what you do and you were able to turn into business while still learning on it, that is a whole lot. How did you actually more like, what was your first taste of entrepreneurship, and how did that actually shape your mindset?
Mm. Well, the first entrepreneur steps that I did was then with my former husband. And in this trading situation, in the political really movements, political times that of movements, then I really learned how to was outgoing. So at this time when I came from the hospital not knowing, how to deal with people, so really, I mean, of course I know how to deal with sick people from the hospital, but going into entrepreneurship, I really didn't have any kind of sort of a feeling for it, because I had this bakery background and the entrepreneur's situation. But that really what shaped me is to get the guts to go out on people and to learn how to sell. And that was a very, very important lesson in my first steps as an entrepreneur, because furthermore, and even today, I don't have any fear of doing anything, because I know I have the trust, I'm able to sell. And I'm not only meaning goods, but I'm meaning also my skills, my person, a contract,
Wow.
everything. I even being here in Dubai now, I even could sell my landlord that I wanted to have this apartment that he actually didn't have the purpose to rent out, but I was so much in love with this apartment that I sold him, that I would be he wanted to actually sell it, but my first steps in Dubai, I didn't want to buy the apartment right away, so I sold him basically in my person, or just taught him into that is a good way of testing each other's purpose, and he has a better ROI for himself to rent it out to me. So you see, it's not only to exchange goods for a certain price, but also to get where you wanted to go in life when you can sell. And that was in the first entrepreneurship really shaping for myself, not only for the skills of selling per se, but also for my self-esteem as an entrepreneur. So I think being able to sell and knowing how to sell, nothing can shake my will,
Yeah.
and nothing can actually interrupt of where I wanted to go. So yeah.
Wow, that was really amazing, because it's just that at the end of every business we can ever think of, or creating or building, at the end of the day is going to be, did you know how to sell? Did you know how to make people want to buy from you? And the fact that while you were a nurse, you didn't know much of those things, but start relating with the out world, those politics and everything, you're able to learn those particular systems. Yeah, as much as you might not know all the whole thing, but the fact that you're able to learn those things and see results on it, that actually sharpen your perspective of what is possible. And now you are not even afraid of anything you can dive into, being that you have the skill set, and if you don't have it, you know where to get it and still sell with it. That is really amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Angela. Okay, you have scaled multiple business during the course of your life across industries. How did the blue collar actually influence your starting? You start from that of nails into beauty and everything. How did those particular systems actually shape how you handle businesses and help them scale?
Mm. So it is always coming from where is the purpose for what is actually the business for. So what is the purpose of the actually the business, and where can I anchor this purpose on different sides towards the clients, but also towards the workers. So when I'm building up teams, which is a very important part of scaling a business, then I'm always looking of if the people, the employees of the business, any kind of nature, what they have and how they can actually find the purpose in the product or in the business, in the entity itself. Okay, so this is something very important, that you not only lead, especially in any kind of field, with the purpose of that drives you, but also you have to manage to transport this certain purpose that you have into the heads and into the hearts of your employees. So any kind of workers, is it blue workers or any kind, they have to understand that what purpose is behind what they are there for. Whether they build up a house, whether they build up, it's a construction place, whether they, be in a clinic to have, a whole clinic environment running. They need to understand the purpose and the philosophy about it, and then you create teams that going for that purpose. And of course, you have to have team goals and stuff like that. So this is something that is very important while scaling. A lot of people, they especially in the Middle East, they sometimes let out of their sight that a very important part of scaling is a team and the team members that you're scaling with. But for me, it is very important, and I think that's why I'm also successful here in the Middle East, because I'm bringing a totally other aspect into scaling a business. As I'm coming from the European side at this moment, right there, a lot of people out of the political landscape created, a lot of European people, they are simply not encouraged to go to work because there's so much social welfare from the government side that, an entrepreneur for this day is also a reason why I left Germany. They cannot bring the scale of balance together. So I need to have a very big motivation as a business owner in Germany to motivate actually also my staff, which is sometimes only not only possible with only money, because you have to have a lot of money, a lot of funds to motivate your workers nowadays in Europe, because everybody is encouraged to stay at home, and they get already so much welfare, and there's not a benefit in going to work. A single mother at this moment who would be 8 hours a day, 40 hours a day away from her, let's say 2 children, earns less. With the mother, she would stay at home and getting support from welfare. So that is the imbalance that has been created, and that is actually giving the entrepreneur in this European landscape a very big focus on knowing how to create that bound between the workers and also the salary of the workers, so the monetary motivation. But also it is very, because you cannot always only money-wise motivate an employee. It's working for sometimes, but on one point they opt out if they don't see a purpose. Especially, I would say 80% of people opting out if they do not see a purpose behind what they are doing. So, and then they start doing it less good, less motivated, and so on. And that's why I know about this already a lot of in advance. So when I'm employing people, recruiting people here in Dubai or in the Middle East, or I'm helping other businesses to scale, I have this point already from the very beginning in my head, where here in the landscape the market is so saturated that a lot of entrepreneurs or business owners, they do not have this even in their sight from the beginning. Bringing in that aspect is actually solving a lot of sorrows in the beginning, or from the beginning, because the people come higher motivated when you actually connect them with your purpose, that they identify themselves with the purpose of the business as such and with the purpose of their work. So having that, actually, it comes out that the employer is much more creative. Therefore, it is much more beneficial for the business to scale, to have an own thinking and creative enhanced person and motivated person at work and in your business. So with that you can scale much better, because then also about the culture, a lot of people, especially in the Indian culture, they are not really used to thinking on their own mind, bringing in own creativity. I mean, they have it, but in terms of being employed, it's something that they do not dare to bring in because they think they cannot step so much forward. But in what I'm doing and scaling businesses of my clients or with my clients, it's always a big relief and a big aha moment for business owners and staff that they are allowed to do that. So yeah, in these times also about AI nowadays, it is so important to bring in this creativity, because AI does already so much. So if we leave out our human power of connecting the dots very specific, then we're leaving out our superpower. And authenticity is a superpower, and this creativity as well. And we have to utilize that. And I bring this European default at this moment together with the defaults of the Middle East, and that makes a really great mixture. So the teams that I'm always scaling up, they have actually a bond to each other. They jump behind them, in the water and go for it. Yeah, we have, for example, in our team. In my own team, somebody who cannot come to work because his child is really, really sick. So as a team here, we bounded together and see how he was working. So I am not, I'm not going to change anything in his work contract, because it is something that is very important for this family now to function. But he also knows that, he has not that struggle now to think of, to not only worry about his child but also worry about his business, his job as such. So we give him in my business a bit of a security, the father we can, but and also look for my employees, actually also look for outside how they can help this person or the family as such. So we're looking for people who can take care for the kids. Meanwhile, the parents look for, the sick child. Something like that is happening. So we build a big network and everybody brings the network with. And something like that is not to be implemented, it's not to train, but it is coming by nature when you bound the team that you build up and scale automatically. And that is something a lot of people here in the Middle East leave this out of sight, because the market is so saturated, everybody is quickly replaced, and but then it's costing a lot of money if they do this. And to avoid that, it's better to have another nature of business and leading strategy. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That was a whole lot of principle you actually just spelled out there. I think the fact that you actually grew up in Germany, where it is more difficult to be an entrepreneur and to be able to scale it, that actually make it to start looking at which blueprint will work. And over time,
Yeah.
the principle you learn there have helped you in other places to easily scale, because you make reference of it in Germany that in Germany you don't even have to work to earn more money. That sometimes, considering that the fact that if you go to work, sometimes you might even earn less compared to those who stay back at home. So you're not actually more like creating more like a procedure where beyond just the work alone, beyond just scaling alone, you are not just thinking about scaling, you are thinking about what is the purpose of you scaling in respect of how will your client going to view you. That is one. And the second thing is how is your employees being able to be, let's say they are coming in much, but still they still retain their energy, they still retain their creativity, and they still retain every energy that is needed to actually fast track that particular business. Basically means it's even more of an in-house thing to work together towards creating this energy, towards making it big, other than the founder just thinking to himself that I want this thing big, let me start employing a lot of other staff. We sometimes might not get the job done. So the blueprint is really amazing, which I know is going to work in every country that we can make reference of. Being that this very one, the company is scaling, not just scaling alone, is carrying the employees around along. Because at the end of the day, everything fall and rise on employees, especially service business. Yeah, thank you so
Ex-
much, Angela. I really
Yeah, you're
appreciate.
very welcome. Thank you. Mhm.
All right.
Thank you for
So
your interesting questions.
thank you. So what led you to transition from a local business owner to international strategy? What led
Hmm.
you? What?
Yes, so actually, it is a mixture of different aspects. First of all, my private life changed. I found later on um, a partner that I grew up my children with, but somehow we lived each other apart, and I got separated during the COVID time. So I was in Germany with my business alone, which has no hesitation on the business as such. But I actually looked much more into the international market. Since 2016, I was always invited in international conventions, or even also here to Dubai to do trainings for entrepreneurs and businesses. So I had already the connections, but that also in my backpack, this as experience leaded me to, also look at the situation at my 2022 relationship, my relationship to myself, also relationship to the business of where I wanted to go in life. I summed it up. I was like thinking, okay, what's next? Then I scaled this business here. I got the life achievement. I can run in Germany now for the next 20 odd years, but I wanted to have something more interesting, and I looked out for, business stimulations, and I was thinking to move maybe in another city in Germany, but um, also my children went out of the nest and been growing up now, and I was thinking, okay, the economy in Germany is not very pleasant at this moment for entrepreneurs, and that's why I was looking into the international market. And with that, nobody nowadays is actually able to, avoid looking to Dubai. So that's when I start to really think through not only working in Dubai, but also living in Dubai. And that actually opens up the international market for me much more. So that's when I'm here, not only anymore for the beauty industry, although wealth, wellness industry is something something very, a big scoop of people
Yeah.
that I still have of my network, but I also do scalings, or I have entrepreneurs out of all kind of industries. Jewelers, I have real estaters, I have constructors, even magazines, anything. So I'm really here. I really feel now that all my skills that I gained over the years as an entrepreneur are coming together to be
Yeah.
at the peak of what I can bring as a value to people. So I'm really utilizing this, and also this brings a big joy to share all of this out of 30 years of entrepreneurship in podcasts like yours. So bringing benefit and motivation to other people, and yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you so much. So you moved to Dubai and launched a boutique family office, and a lot of underheads consultant, and which is very very amazing. Being that you actually started from a nursing profession, and then it's as though now everything is coming together, and you're not making all of them, even to help service business too, in contractor and various other things. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was your journey like moving to Dubai and setting up and putting on this particular thing? In terms of
Wow.
entrepreneurship, how what was it like?
I learned a lot. Well, it was like I'm opened the back of the Pandora, as we say in Germany. You know, when I did the decision to move, I was not aware it really showed the real face of people that I can trust and cannot trust. So my whole business in Dubai, I'm sorry, in Germany, that I wanted to sell actually was not able to be sold anymore out of economic reason, but far more because of my employees there was getting, unfortunately, in the corona time, everybody had scars, everybody had sort of, even though I never had actually pushed somebody in the corona time out. I even built up a shelter, especially the beauty industry in the corona time was very, distracted, and I built it in my universe of business, a totally switch from the operational side to the digital side, so I could really switch in the corona time and keep all of my 15 employees that I had in Germany. And when I want then 2 years later down the road relocate, I actually had the intention to keep my business and then sell it within the time to one of my employees. But instead of doing so, my employees was backstabbing me and taking actually in my absence when I started to prepare the nest in Dubai. I was flying back and forth and being all the time or sometimes absent. The person that I installed as a team leader in the in my team was actually backstabbing and building a lot of dispute into my team. So the team was falling apart, and with that, everybody had forgotten their own motivation, why they did this, and they forgot what I did for them. And so they went for their own purpose. So, and at that moment, I was really, really sad about that. 3 years later now, I really healed that. It was a big wound of mine, I must say, to be backstabbed from such a people. So, because they took my clients away and built up their own business with my clients. So I could not actually sell my business anymore because clients were not there. They was already shifted to the other side, and also the employees were not there. They shifted on the other side. So I had only an empty shelter. And that was a big, big pitfall that I did never counted on, that people can swiftly turn around their face so much. And I had really to work on myself to forgive that. But yeah, I managed that, and that was the biggest hustle that I had. And the one more big hustle that actually resulted out of it, my own tension was then to prove everybody that my business in Dubai really functioned. And in my first steps, I really had quickly also some, contracts and some offers that we worked together. But I wanted so much that I already started to work with only the handshake. Started to work by sending out the invoice, but not waiting, it's been paid. So unfortunately, I felt in the first period of my time in Dubai here into a situation where I had over 300,000 dirhams outstandings of funds of business money that I really, didn't count on as well. So I had to deep down dig in my purse, in my personal purse, to compensate that, and that was quite hard, really. I must say I had to also restructure my own life needs, and yeah, I really had to adapt to this situation until I found, actually, again, I had to adapt then and work on myself. Why is that happen? Not the people. I mean, not
Mm.
to say that they did something good in not paying a bill, but it's about frequency. That's also a big thing that I'm talking to people. What you send out is what you get back. And in that first steps in Dubai here, I was actually sending out that I wanted to work, that I was really not in a state of abundance, but in a state of contraction. I was pushy. I was, trying to create the moment, not living the moment, and not the momentum that brings money, but that only brings the people that would just take even farther things away. So yeah, that is something that you have to watch out for, to not go into this frequency of doubt, to not go into this frequency of loss, but be in that frequency of being grateful. That will actually brings you all around. So it led to it that I even got in my first steps of being in such a contraction, running after these outstanding monies, running after those people who owe me and did not pay, received already my, work, and received already what I have delivered, and my services. It only created that I was emotionally even available to be scammed. So, and that first, in that time in my whole life, I was firstly thinking about, okay, maybe it's better you being employed, and not knowing much about out of my situation of being employed. I actually fell for a job scam, and that was something that was the lowest point in my Dubai journey so far. But to realize that has a lot to do with frequency, how you operate and meet your opposite. um, I learned also to switch this around. So I was very grateful for this lesson that the universe gave me. And again, I was very trustworthy into my own skills, that I know how to sell, that I know how to do business in the end of the day, and got myself out of it. The universe told me, hey, you're not made for an with that story, you're not made for an employmentship. You are an entrepreneur. Stay on the track. You are in the right place. You only have to change this matter around. You do not get work done before it's paid. You do not go into a situation where the contract is only made by handshake. This is not what you do on this international field. So it's also another landscape when you contract wise operate here out of an entrepreneurship. If you want to sue somebody for an outstanding payment, it's just literally only possible if you again bring a lot of money with you. Why would you do this? And this, I did not have this knowledge. It was a very hard school, but now I have this knowledge and know how to do it, and I'm back in top of the game. So what I actually did, and that is something very important I really want to bring to your audience, is by the change of the frequency about yourself, you can shift your whole business and your whole life around. Actually, it's about how you see things. You can see it from the versus side, that you can find yourself as a victim. Oh, now I got unpaid bills. It winds you down in the frequency so far that I even was available for scammers to be, a victim. But then again, here, the whole attitude towards the situation also is only in your hand, you know. Not
Yeah.
the scammer is a stupid person or a mean person. It is per se, but I believe so much in karma. It will come back. It's not my point to solve it, but I can only have in my hand what I can learn out of it. And what I can learn out of it is that I was responsible for that. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
brought myself into a situation like that. It's not to put the blame on me, but learn out of this situation. And by the way, for all the people who feel ashamed to be scammed anywhere along their way with anything, you are not too stupid to be, you know, nobody is too stupid to be scammed, but it's only how available you are. And that is a mirror of where you are standing right now. The situation that you are in at this moment, that is your reality, is actually the mirror of your actions just some months ago. So the fruits are the reality that you are in, the fruits that you are earning at this moment is is actually what you brought out as far as energy some months ago. So that is something that you can shift. So when I got scammed, I was on the lowest point here in Dubai, and I was really managing my last money. I was really managing the good repetition that I had in the market, and started from the scratches. And now it is some months ago actually that this happens, and now it's actually happened in the end of the last year. And it's just some months down the road, I could shift my whole business around in actually doing what an entrepreneur has to do. And this is action. And even if you have to start from the scratches, it is something that you have to act and not lay like a beetle on the back and, you know, moving the legs and say, I'm a victim and I cannot move. It's always you have to get up and reflect of what is the situation, learn out of it, and take these learnings along your way to make it better. And that's what I actually do. I'm having every day my gratefulness moment to bring up my frequency in a state of, yeah, you know, reception and receiving. And that's when business can shift around, and nobody will get a needy frequency from me, a frequency of contraction. So I also not attract those people who are scammers or want not to pay their bill or unworthy clients, you know?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Angela. I think that was a whole lot of lessons to learn from your stories. I think it's the fact that service business sometimes the biggest issue one gets to have, or when you're actually scaling to become more bigger, either globally or locally, scaling your own environment, is the employees, is the staff you get to have. Sometimes it's difficult to scale with them, because sometimes they might be the one that will turn the business around and be the later persons to destroy the business, which is more of a bigger lessons for each and every entrepreneur to bear in heart, especially service business, where everything rise and fall on those who are working with, being that a whole lot of work we are doing is not done by AI, it's done by humans. So it's going to
Yes.
demand a whole lot of them. So we have to work a lot of system around it. And also, even if it actually it didn't turn as planned, just the way you have said, we should learn to forgive ourselves and take out the best lessons towards making things better. So I actually want to add this also more like a lot of persons fear starting out today, and which is more like a very very big deal, because let's imagine you were in Germany, you were doing your business. As a Germany, it was successful, but just that you were looking forward to scaling globally before actually reaching out to Dubai. And when you do that, there was a whole lot of destruction here and there, a whole lot of rise and fall. So, being that you have passed through this journey now, what can your advice be for someone who is looking forward to scale a business? Let's say either in a new country, in a new places. If you were to give them advice, just a short one, what will it be so that they can actually factor that into their plan while they are scaling their service business?
Really learn how to sell. That brings you in all aspects of life farther. Selling is something that is nothing manipulative. It's just a very determined way of communication that you bring as a service to your clients. learn how to learn how to sail, and then you know how to scale. And always be grateful. And that brings you in a frequency of reception. And that is something very, very important. These two things I would give every entrepreneur. Matter of fact, I give this to every entrepreneur.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Learning how to sell and being receptive, because I think from what you just said now, it just means that uh, every kind of scaling you can think about, they don't pass through the same routes. So you just have to sit down with it and know what the
Yeah.
trouble is and find how to better what the situation is, other than crying over the spill milk. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is the blind spot you often see in founders trying to grow too quickly? More like, owing to your years of experience, you have been able to scale some service business from their lower state to a bigger state. So, in your years of doing that, what do you think is the blind spot you have seen among founders who are trying to scale their business too fast?
Mm.
So,
In my word, there is no too fast. Yeah,
okay,
you can scale your business very fast, and this is always such an assumption. Also, I hear explanations when people say your business, it's not, I'm growing my business healthy. There is no unhealthy way of growing your business. It is just your own standing towards it. So if
yeah,
you grow too fast, it's actually meaning also you adapting processes too slow, because there is no too fast growing.
mm,
It's just a too slow reaction to what is growing. You cannot put a brake on something that's growing. If it's growing and it's flourishing, it's some blessing. So
yeah,
don't put the brakes on this
mm,
blessing. Just adapt to it. And that's what we know as a pain of growth. When, for example, you don't find employees, that's a pain of growth. If you don't have people that you can talk to, it's a pain of growth. That you cannot, be understood or get any advice in this sort of league, it's a pain of growth. To actually have longer processes, to have no time to take on new clients, for example, it's a pain of growth. And that is the right time where you should have a mentor on your side, because we cannot see our own shadows always ourselves. And that's why we need to have people of reflection next to us. They are already there where we wanted to be, or where our journey is to going to be. So that is something very important. And this is also a big motivation of a lot of people that are in my programs, because they wanted to have the reflection, and they wanted to actually adapt to what they are, or bring them out of a pitfall that they have been. So with
yeah,
pitfalls, I can make a whole store of, or I have for every pitfall some kind of an advice or an experience. So that is something that I can deliver, and also a strategy of how to grow and get out of also the pain of growth. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, Angela. I think that was still a lot to the fact that you make reference of. There is nothing too fast. Yeah, that just struck me because I was like, you were making reference of it that, yeah, you can't put brake to something that is moving very fast. Which simply means you can't. The idea of scaling too fast is shouldn't be something which you're looking forward to adopting, but growing the process in a way that everything is growing progressively. Let's say the structure, the employees, everybody you are having, other than you are just scaling without even thinking about the processes, which at the end of the day is going to land you into a pitfall.
Yeah,
So the better way of doing it is if we're having someone who can coach you and mentor you, who can serve as more like a mirror image of what you're actually looking forward to doing, especially if they have done it before, or they have actually have some difficulties even more than this you are encountering. That will give you a
exactly.
blueprint better off compared to you just trying to grow in the dark. Yeah, thank you so much, Angela. So
Very welcome.
yeah, what is an entrepreneurial family office, and how is it different from your coaching and that of consulting?
Yes. So, and family office is actually something that holds different projects, and scales them basically, takes a very big party on it. So people or entrepreneurs that they want to have a business case but doesn't want to take care of it, about the growth, about the marketing, about everything around it, maybe also only some isolated aspects like only the marketing or only scaling up or only setting up the sales team. So some aspects of them they do not want to take care. So they come to a family office and say, please, could you take care of this project in this sort of matter? And that's what I'm doing. So now I have, for example, a magazine that is not my magazine, but it's a magazine of somebody. They wanted to enter here in the market, and I'm scaling this up. I'm making a soft launch for it, and then a printed launch, for example, something like that. I build up the team around it, help them to build up the team processes, and so they can, on one hand, either have this sort of business running or run by a family office, or then even also prepare it and overtake it. It's like sort of an incubator, a family office that you can build projects in, and that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, I think over the course of your business, I actually wanted to give us more like a blueprint that have helped you so much. So, okay, so what is the small structure or habit that has made the biggest impact in your own business? Let's say the small structure, more like, let's say an habit, despite small, that have made big impact while you were growing your business.
You say about habits of an
Yes,
entrepreneur?
yes, yes.
Is that
Yes,
okay?
habit, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, an habit is always to get up, show up, and dress up. Always be there, and it is something important. I have a very structured routine. I'm getting up very early. I meditate, and I have a healthy lifestyle. This is such an important thing. I see always entrepreneurs that are um, don't fancy a healthy lifestyle, either in eating, smoking, or drinking, something like that. And that is actually always also a mirror in your business. It mirrors your lifestyle, is mirroring your business, or the other way around. And that is something that I can really say as an advice, that you should have actually a structure in your business. Also structure your tools, your task, what you have to do. I use certain tools. For example, for my tasks at the days, I'm using always the Eisenhower principle, and I be with that very effective. Every minute in my calendar is dedicated to a certain task. So in my calendar, there is no time for bullshit. I'm sorry to say that's a word, but this is something that I give every minute in my calendar a
Yeah.
certain time. And so there is a certain time window for having WhatsApp communication, for having email communication, for having creativity time, for having leadership time, something like that. So I have blocks in my calendar. That's something about effectivity. But also, especially on the international market and here in the Middle East, you are in the desert. You have to get to
Yeah.
know that you are, you need a lot of more water to send out your entrepreneur caravan, and that's why you need a lot of network. And network is so essential for your business. That is something very time intensive. Yes, I commit, but it is so worthy in the end to lean into your network and to nourish your business out of a network. So a network is always a community, a tribe is always something very important. And if you are the biggest in one room of your network, in one group of your network, then you have to reflect you are in the wrong room, because then it's no potential for you to learn anything no more. So then you have to look for a next scale of entrepreneurs or the next scale of people that you wanted to hang around with, because we also define ourselves from the people that are around us. Our environment
Yeah.
shapes us and shapes the results that we wanted to create. So that's something that as an entrepreneur you have to have actually this in mind and in your genes. And of course, to take decisions, to wait too long with a decision can cost you so much money. And that's why to take a decision is much important. And don't worry about whether it's the right decision or the wrong decision. Just make a decision. And decision is something that leads you anywhere. Even if it's in your definition the wrong decision, you have learned something out of it. So it is always better to do a decision than waiting another day, sleep over, and so on and so on. Do a decision. And I practice the most when I'm going in a restaurant. I open up the menu and just choose within the matter of a minute, so that the waiter don't even have time to walk away. And that's how you can train to take fast decisions, because that's some really important entrepreneurship skill that you should have. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think I learned one of the lessons you just make reference of is your habit is going to cut across your work ethic in your business and everything. So as an entrepreneur, you have to be mindful of the kind of habits you actually get to practice every now and then, because it's going to influence the way you act, the kind of environment you have, and the kind of people you have around you. Yeah, thank you, Angela. So, Malik, why is Dubai becoming a global hub for founders and service professional?
While this city, you have to understand, is so fast growing, and it has one big thing, and one very potential thing. It's a good leader. So you have to imagine, if you and me, we are just getting into a conversation of, oh, let's go to a gym. So I'm saying, let's show up on the gym every day. We meet at 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. We are at the gym. So you and me, we meet, and the first day I or you is not showing up. So the next day I'm also not showing up. So the day after that I'm also not showing up. What is going in your mind? What's going on in your mind? It was like, she can just, she's not very trustworthy. I cannot trust her. Would you do business with me?
Yeah.
By not only showing up on the gym. So what the leader of Dubai does is actually something very, very important as a leader, to always keep your word. He says we're gonna build a street. A half year after that, he's built the street. He's not only thinking, discussing, he's just leading with such a determination and with such a precise dignity, that is such an I think this is the biggest value of Dubai, or the biggest secret of Dubai, even if it's not a secret, but that is actually very important, because where in Europe everybody is discussing a year long about how they build the street, or what they could change in schools for the children to learn better things, to people to not do harm to each other. So something like that is not happening. A lot of people in Europe are discussing with each other, and a lot of parties are giving their own opinion to it. And in Dubai, this is not happening. The ruler gives the way, he knows the way, he shows the way, and he goes the way. And that is something very important. There is even a book recommendation that I have on that. It's called The Czech CEO. It's a very good book where you can learn a lot being a good leader. So that is a big reason why Dubai is such a hub of growth, because this Sheikh Mohammed, he is really keeping his word on what he's saying will be done, and there's no discussion. And he is not treating the people who are here as, he's treating every people with respect. Doesn't matter what job they have, but what he does, he builds the city around the people. Yeah, he builds the city for the people, and that is something that is making it so much growing and attracts a lot of people that wants to actually also achieve something, and therefore a lot of people are here in Dubai. They do not have to excuse themselves that they want to work, that they like to achieve something, that they are achieving something. I have clients, they say, I wanted to move from Germany to Dubai. How do I do this? For example, doctors that I help to get their medical license here. That's one of the projects that I do in my family business, family office. And I'm asking, what is your motivation of relocating? And they always says, in Germany, I'm a target when I'm actually performing, I'm working, and I have these doctors. They are working very much, and they have a good income. And they say I have to park my Porsche 3 streets farther, that my clients doesn't see it in front of my own business, because other than that, I make myself and my family being a target of robberies, stuff like that. And this is something that we don't have in Dubai, because there is no crime, first of all, and secondly, you do not have to excuse yourself of delivering, want to achieve something. I have in Germany, I always had to excuse myself why I'm working so much. My environment of other mothers to my children, other mothers around me, like me, I was always asking, why you have to work, why are you doing this? It's because I wanted to, because this is my passion. And here it's nothing that I have to excuse myself for, to deliver, actually, to work and to want to achieve something. And I also have not to hide once I achieved something. Everybody is celebrating here your success, and that is actually the vibration that you have here. The city is so high vibrating and so fast that it is, yeah, you of course need to be made for such kind of a drive. If you be somebody who wants to retire, certainly Dubai is on another scale of interesting activities, a good place to stay. But for entrepreneurs, for people who are in business, this is actually the two reasons. There's no crime, and you don't have to be ashamed of achieving. And that's something that also does Dubai here. They build the business, they build the country around their people. Yeah, they
Yeah.
also don't say you are you are an expat. They say it is not the department. That's what they say. Sometimes you don't go to a department, you go to a customer happiness center. So Dubai is treating everybody like a customer, not like an expat, and like a worker, but they treat their people like guests, so customers.
Angela, your story is a masterpiece in clarity, strategy, and soul of our listener who want to connect, take the next step with you. If we have a lot of listeners who would love to actually more, like they are looking forward to scaling, especially in other countries, not just within their own boundary alone. So if they want to reach out to you and do business with you, how do they reach out to you? Tell us how they can.
Yeah. Best way is on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or even, I don't know if you have the opportunity to put a link into the show notes of this podcast. They can make directly in an appointment. I offer 30 minutes of free consultation, a strategy scale, a Skillionair call that we can shortly exchange of what is important. If you don't have these chances, just then put my LinkedIn, because everything in LinkedIn is be found for that, to get in
Yeah, no
contact.
problem. So I think after this particular show, I'm going to reach out to you so that you send me everything you want to be part of this show notes, and then I'm going to
Thank
add
you,
it in that
Pablo.
of the Spotify and that about the YouTube too, so that they can actually reach out to you and do business with you easily
Yes.
from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us today. And to our listener, if this episode sparks something in you, share it, send it to a founder or a trade person who is ready to scale and grow without losing themselves in the process. This is the Aro Benaiah Show. I'll see you in the next episode.